This video is for P&S Marine. This is John, and the video is about the boat called Rainbow, which is due to come out of the water on the 2nd of November. So hopefully after this video, on your side of things, there won't be any surprises, and you'll kind of know what we're coming in for. So this is Rainbow, the blue one. We're on the outside here. I didn't come up with the name, but it's growing on me. So we take you aboard. Hopefully I don't drop the phone in the canal. She's quite long, 65 foot. And most of the work that needs doing, well, first of all, we're getting a hull survey, and we'll see what that turns up. We're also going to be blacking the boat ourselves, but then there's also just some work which we'll be needing your help with, and that's primarily back here in the engine bay. At one point this boat was really nice, and at another point somebody completely let this boat go, and so there's just a few things that have kind of gone. The engine bay is just a bit of a dive, and I plan on having everything rewired and much more tidy at the other end of this stage, but for the moment everything's really grimy down there, as you can see. But I can see also that once we get that stuff out there, all that grime and oil, it's actually going to clean up a lot nicer than you think from the video. But that aside, there is some corrosion, and the worst parts of it are down here. Just be careful where I step. Down here, the bulkhead. There's the inside. There's my girlfriend making tea. And what separates the cabin from the engine bay, this bulkhead is completely, well, almost completely rusted through. You can see some insulation on the back there, and you can see a sort of a repair job that somebody's masticed this bit in place. But it's completely unsuitable now. So I think this bulkhead needs to be replaced. And the same on the other side here. You can see also down along the sides here on these steps, I'm not sure what you call them, part of the transom, I guess. They are also quite corroded in places. This stuff, there's a lot of surface rust here and a lot of flake that's sitting on the top, and once that gets cleared away, I think it's going to be a pretty smooth surface to work with. But in places there probably will need to be some overplating. Here, this middle bit is actually wood. It's a wood panel that can be removed. It's under the stairs here. I've never removed it before, but I'm guessing it's for taking the engine out through that hole, which may or may not be more difficult than actually lifting the engine out from the bay here. Of course, there's this cross beam which would have to be angle grinded out in order to do that and then replaced, but I don't know. I'm not sure what's easier, what's harder, and to be honest, I'm not sure if to do that sort of welding there, whether the engine actually does need to be lifted out, or if a plate can be put into place. Alright, as you can see, if I stood in the engine bay, I mean this bulkhead's about onto not more than 3 feet tall and a couple of feet wide. Yeah. Okay, coming back here, as you can see, some of the rain gutters are pretty, well, this one's fine really, but here you can see some bad corrosion, and there, and in the lockers as well. So here's another piece of the bulkhead which is pretty badly corroded. Another repair job there you can see, which is now inadequate. That's just a small extra bit. Coming into the lockers here, you can see the rain gutter is quite badly corroded. I'm not sure what we can do about that. We might just well clean it up and it might be fine, or we might want to just get a bit of new metal in place. On a side note, this canvas air duct is pretty ripped and worn and shot. I was wondering if you guys might be able to source one of them, because I haven't been able to find one. In terms of the lockers, here we have the beginning of the bottom of this port stern locker, and the base is pretty corroded. I think we'll probably want to overplate that. The locker itself is about 2 or 2.5, well, I don't know, 400 centimeters long. Over here is the battery locker, which was the worst corroded of all of them, and we have actually taken the bottom out and put that in, put a new bottom in ourselves, so saving you guys a bit of labor and us a bit of money. And so basically we're talking only about this locker at the moment, which is pretty badly corroded and needs to have work done on it in terms of lockers. And the rest of the engine bay doesn't look too bad if we gave it a really deep clean. As a matter of fact, most of the paint is still there, so I think it should be easy to work with. I think it shouldn't be too bad back here. The one remaining issue is here, where the propeller shaft passes through the transom. It seems is pretty corroded, and I would like your opinion about that, whether that needs to be attended to or not. Up here, sorry, this is the bottom of one of the decks. Down here, where the tiller shaft passes down through the into the engine bay, is also similar. I can't really get to it at the moment, but it's pretty similar to back here with the propeller shaft. It looks a bit corroded and rusted, and I want your opinion, please. If you can tell me what we could do about that. And that's about it for the engine bay, I think. So it's not as much work as I originally sold it to you as, but it is worth noting that around here, these are the diesel tanks, and they're sitting on the transom step there, which is pretty corroded. So I mean, it might require getting these diesel tanks out to work on that area there, which might be a bit of a headache, but I'd like to hear what you think about it. Yeah. And the only other place that really requires some welding work is the forward anchor locker up in the bow, which I'll take you to now. It's just pretty similar to what we saw on the back. It's full of junk at the moment, but at the bottom of all this rubbish is a badly corroded floor, which I think needs to be cut out and just a new floor welded into place. While we're at it, I would really like to take a look down into the bilge, into the ballast, because I haven't been able to have a good look in there and see how much water, if any, is collecting in there, and possibly set up another bilge pump, well, just ahead of the bulkhead, like below the cabin back there, because I would think that the water would be draining down that way. Set up another bilge in there in order to drain any water that's collecting in the main bilge under the cabin area, because I don't think there's any one in place. I haven't been able to find one. One other thing is that I'd like to replace this water filling unit, because it's just it hasn't got any screws in place. It's pretty badly mounted, and if you unscrew it, it's very rusted inside, leading to the pipe, which I think is plastic or PVC. The pipe, which then leads to the tank, that's okay, but the metal beginning bit is pretty rusted, and I think we just need to replace that. So I don't know if you can source one of them. Let me know. Everything else is pretty fine. The only other welding work would be to the bottom of the hull, which of course we don't know to what extent that is going to be, but we'll see what the hull survey turns up. Other than that, I don't think there's going to be anything major that comes up. I think we'd like to have a mechanic do a slight overhaul of the engine, i.e. replacing fuel filters and oil filters. But that's about it. So we're looking forward to meeting you and doing business with you. I hope this video is helpful. Look forward to meeting you guys soon. Thanks. Have a good day.